if a person is talking to me and my spouse, is it making us divided or are we coming together?
Yeah, like am I side-eyeing him? Like, oh, well, my husband does that. He must be cheating on me.
We've got this remarried love. It's better than we dreamed of. Left the pain in the past. Just you and me.
Everybody with a microphone has relationship advice, but not everybody with advice has wisdom for your remarriage. Welcome to Remarried Love, where we help you build a strong, healthy legacy remarriage.
We are your remarriage strategic advisors, and we'll share practical wisdom for the journey ahead.
I'm D.
And Aki.
And in this podcast, you'll gain tools for intentional growth because a legacy remarriage is built on purpose.
We are so glad you're here. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about how not to let viral relationship advice damage your remarriage. This is getting a lot of talk and debate because there's been gurus or relationship advice personalities online that have been said not to be qualified because of either credentials or
experience,
their actual experience.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to weigh in on some of those things because, for us, a lot of times they're using or they're giving advice for clicks.
We want to warn remarried couples because a lot of online personalities, they may have advice for you, but it may be designed more for clicks instead of your healing.
Yeah, with remarriage, there's so many nuances of a remarriage. And a lot of times people will speak very general of what the relationship is or should be or what you should expect or this has helped. But in reality, a lot of them don't know in real life.
I think about the fact that a remarriage really needs specific information. Someone needs guidance in a way where it's like, I need this help, not just general help, but I need specific help.
Yeah, something that's so unique to me.
It's going to help me and my family or my household.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk, like we had marriage therapists on the program and they were so good because they studied and, they have the credentials of helping marriages and helping couples communicate, grow, live together, help each other understand where the other person's coming from.
And they're also married.
Yes. So they understand not only the practicality of this is how you should do it, like A, B, and C, but they also understand the emotions that come with it when you're married and you're in covenant with someone and you're trying to not have an argument or argue nicely.
Yeah, because you can know what to do in your head and then your heart's telling you how you feel. So sometimes they're in conflict with each other and you have to realize I need to do what I know, not just what I feel, because what I feel could get me in trouble.
And sometimes you have to be trained for that, to do that, to go by like, let me just follow the plan and not get affected or thrown off by my emotions. So it's good to have someone there that's listening to the whole situation, not just giving like soundbite advice.
Yeah, because soundbite advice can actually hurt your relationship. You don't have the full scope of what someone is trying to tell you or necessarily what you need to know in your relationship for this specific situation, season, or the things that you're going through right now.
It kind of reminds me of how they say about scriptures, like in the Bible, if you just take one out, like especially that submit yourself, people get so upset. But if you have to read the whole entire chapter and understand what the intent of that one scripture is saying.
Yeah, because it may say that a woman is to submit to her own husband, but it also says that husbands should submit to their wives as well.
Exactly.
And it also says they should love their wives and take care of them and things like that. But
it's a whole package.
It's a whole package.
Of advice. But if I just say the one thing,
a soundbite,
it can rile people's emotions. And I like to kind of give the example of, how when you're in a simulation or you're like a driving simulation and you're learning different things, it is so different than when you're actually in the vehicle driving.
Driving a truck or a car.
Or whatever. So It's like, I can be told all of these things, but when you're actually in it, it's a totally different feeling because
Well, you have
you can
motion.
feel the wind.
Yes, the
You
motion.
can feel like if it's raining or not. You can feel the tires. You can feel the motor. You can feel all those things. You're not just driving the steering wheel. Whereas in the simulation, it's just like, okay, they're telling you this is happening and you have to decide what you're going to do, but you're not feeling all of those responses and stimulations.
I like to say also the responsibilities, because if you have
it's a weight
children in the
yeah.
car, or you have some family in the car,
Mm-hmm.
now you're driving, and you also have other people's livelihoods in the vehicle with you. So you can't make mistakes. You can't
Yeah.
take your eyes off the, road, or your hands off the steering wheel.
Pause.
And
There's no
push the
pausing.
pause button.
There's no pausing.
Yeah.
And so that's why if you are a person who likes to kind of listen and watch people that are giving those soundbite advice, you want to take it with a grain of salt.
Yes.
It's good, okay, but don't think that is always applicable to
Specifically
you.
to
Yeah,
you.
to you, because remarriage and marriage is different than dating and singlehood. They are different stages of life.
There are different stages of life, just like there's different stages of grades. When you're in the 10th grade, it's different than the 12th grade. There's a lot of things that you go through in the 12th grade that a 10th grader won't have to go through until they're in the 12th grade. So once you graduate and go up, now you have more responsibility and you see more of what you have to deal with.
Let's take us, for example. We are giving advice for remarriages that want to build legacy. You want to be in this marriage, grow, have a blended family,
Have peace.
and you want wealth and health, all of those things.
Yeah, so what makes us qualified?
Right.
That's one of the things I would ask. If I'm looking for a remarried couple that I want to learn from, I would say, well, what are your qualifications? And before I say what ours are, I would say that we were about to get married and we went to church and we said we want to be counseled by a remarried couple.
Yeah, someone who had gone through divorce. That was like our main.
Yeah, because
Ask.
it is different than being counseled by a couple who has never gone through divorce when you have been through a divorce yourself.
They can tell you about pain and they can talk about grief management and all of those things. But if they don't have the personal feeling of a divorce, then it would probably be hard for us to receive from them.
It is hard like that. The people that we were counseled by, they went through some things. And in fact, the wife gave you some information that now has come to pass in a good way.
Yeah. She gave the advice of, not letting what was happening right now have so much weight because it will change in the future. The way I see things, the way things will feel, it will be less and less intense as it goes on.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, I couldn't even
You couldn't
understand
even fathom
that.
or imagine.
What type of, what are you talking about? And she was helping me to pace my emotions. Now, is that a soundbite? Like, would that be viral? Hey, the intensity of how you feel now, you won't feel that in the future. I don't know if that would make clicks.
Well, it
but-
sounds good.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it didn't sound good to me.
Well, it hurt because you were like going through it at that time.
Right. And so I was just like, there's no way. But I don't hear people saying that as much in a way that they understood, because her examples that she had, I could relate to, because she had been a woman who had been married, wanted that relationship to work, was devastated by the divorce, and had to rebuild her life. Then she found someone new. She was in a new marriage, and she was letting me know all of the emotional steps that it would take to get to the promised land or get to the future. And I didn't know that at the time. So I respected that. I respected the journey and the wisdom, and then giving me the feedback. Yeah. So like you said, we wanted to have someone who had gone through that for us.
I think that, to me and for us, that's the only way that we would, really deal with someone, because first of all, it has to be a man and a woman, because we don't
We
believe
definitely
in,
wanted a couple.
Yeah, we wanted a couple.
Yeah.
We don't want the gender wars. Well, the men are like that, or the women are like that.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear that. We're trying to have a great relationship, have peace. And
We
go.
didn't want it one-sided.
No, we
because
definitely not.
yes, if you talk to some divorced women, you could hear, and just all divorced women, you would hear some things about men.
Yes,
And
the hurt, the pain.
yeah, the vice versa. If you got in a group of divorced men,
Yes, the hurt, the pain.
yeah, the bitterness and shame, there's all of those things. But when you get a couple together who's had to deal with all of those feelings and still open their heart to love another person, that takes a little bit of a different, skill set.
And also the couples, they pretty much help each other, or, they're not going to front each other off when they're trying to help other people, but they will help each other while helping someone else.
They usually want to encourage that. Like,
Exactly.
I have noticed, and you probably have too, but I have noticed that couples who have gone through that entire journey
Yeah.
of marriage, divorce, that re-singled life, dating again, finding a person, a good spouse,
Yes.
building a relationship, it's almost like they want to help other people.
Well, it feels good to get to the other side,
Well,
when you
that
have
too, but they want to actually help people get there.
Yes.
Because they understand the
lows,
pain.
yeah.
How low that can get.
how deep that rabbit hole can go.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh yes, I want another couple to feel this joy
Yes.
that I'm feeling and help them. So you've probably heard us mention this before.
We were the children of divorced parents, and we both have been divorced ourselves.
And now we're 15 years strong in our remarriage journey. So trust us when we say we get it when starting over and building a new life together. If you're ready to reclaim your power in love, life, and money, I wrote Power Over All just for you. It's real, it's encouraging, and it's meant to walk with you as you heal and grow. There's also a companion journal to help you track your progress and reflect all year long. Grab your copy today and step fully into the power God already gave you. Links in the description. Now let's get back to the episode.
That leads us to where we are today, and that's why we like to help people,
Yeah.
because we have had the highs, the lows, the very lows, and then we got together. We received wisdom from another remarried couple, and then we were able to have our marriage go through our day-to-day lives, and
And we were kind of taking notes of like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, that works.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we wish somebody would have told us or could help us.
yeah. So we had the experience, we had the counsel, and now we're wanting to help others based on our experience, the counsel that we've received,
Speaking to other couples.
speaking to other couples, many other couples,
Talking to them.
therapists,
What
and
worked, what didn't work.
exactly.
Kind of collecting all of that information.
All that data,
and
information.
presenting it in a way that other people could learn from and help. So what other qualifications do you think we have?
Well, we are the children of divorced people.
Yes,
So we
we
grew
talked
up in that kind of environment of marriage, divorce,
As a
remarriage.
child.
As a child.
Yeah.
And now we're adults. We have experienced it as children and as adults.
That's wild
Yeah.
to me.
So we
It's-
have both the blended family, the remarried life as children and as adults.
What is so fascinating to me, and I don't know, not in a good way, but what's fascinating to me is that both of our parents got divorced, and both sides of our parents got remarried, meaning my mother got remarried after her divorce with my dad, and my dad got remarried.
Yeah.
And the same for you.
Yes, same for me.
Like, that kind of defies a lot of odds too, because a lot of times most men get remarried.
First.
And in our situation, well, my dad got remarried first, but my mom got remarried as well.
Yes.
In your situation, did your mom get remarried first or did your dad?
Well, to be honest with you, I was so young, I don't even know. I
Who got
wouldn't know.
remarried?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
know who got remarried. I can ask them.
Yeah.
But I think maybe, actually, I have no idea, to be honest with you, who got remarried.
We don't even know who got
first.
remarried first.
I was so young,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that my dad got remarried and I was first, and I was in both of their weddings. So I was in my dad's remarriage and a wedding, and I was in my mom's. And that's kind of weird. It was weird to
be there.
to be a part of my mom marrying someone else. What that did to me, I was younger. I think I was like maybe late elementary, middle school when my dad got remarried. And then I was just starting high school when my mom got remarried.
So after you were talking, I was thinking about my life, and I'm thinking that my father probably got remarried first, because my mother, when she remarried my stepfather, who she's still married to now, I was, close to being a teenager.
So probably your dad.
So my father, he married first. Yeah.
So in the other thing that's interesting in our lives when I look at it is that both of our mothers remarried a man who they had a prosperous legacy type of remarriage. You know what I mean? Like it survived over 20, 30 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, your parents are still married. Yeah. My stepfather passed, but just what that took. So we've seen all of that. And then as an adult, unfortunately, we got married before.
Well, not unfortunately for us. Oh, you're saying before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fortunate part is that we met each other.
We found each other after all of the destruction that our divorce had. So for me, I feel like my divorce was very destructive.
Yes.
Mentally, physically, financially, it was bad. And to have gone through that and to have found love again, it took a lot of work. I mean, I had to put in the work to heal. I had to put in the work to reset my mind about what marriage means to me.
And I had to put in the work to be with you during your healing process. Some people don't understand that you have to be in it with the other person as they go through their healing
as well,
because we know that you want to be healed, but they need to be healed as well.
Right.
More than likely, you're marrying someone who has some type of issue because of a relationship, whether it was marriage or dating,
past wounds, children. I think that I gave, and you have to let me know. I mean, I feel like I gave you a lot of support during that co-parenting stage that you had to now deal with right after divorce.
Yes, you did.
Because how do we know? We weren't, we're not really trained in that.
Well, we weren't trained, but now we are.
I mean, we've
gone through the fire. We've gone through the valley. We've gone through different things. And so we're able to give advice based off of our experience.
Right. And co-parenting was different, I feel like, back in the day. Like back when our parents got divorced, it was not as, I don't want to say glamorous. I don't know if it's glamorous. It wasn't as exposed and it wasn't as talked about. So it was like if you had to drop your child off, or you were, dad was spending time or mom was spending time, it wasn't as much drama to me, I feel like, back then.
And to add to what you're saying, I would have said it's not just so much one-sided. It seems like co-parenting is actually more one-sided these days than it is actually two cohesive, people coming together and saying, I'm the dad, I'm the mom, and we're going to co-parent what we did, which is have this child or children.
And I think that's because of laws too. The laws changed, giving the mother more of the final say, or what did they used to call it? It was like the primary parent. I don't even know what it was. They didn't say primary, did they?
They did say primary.
That was the word?
Yes,
okay. So it's like, who is the primary parent? Like, who decides that? So it kind of gave the other parent, it took away some of their rights. So I think that's what was going on during the times we got divorced, where our parents really didn't deal with that as much.
And I'd like to add that also you said it took away some of the rights of one parent, but also made another parent feel like their rights were like doubled, or they felt super empowered to say, do, and restrict, tell people what they can and cannot do
with the child.
Yes.
And, laws have changed back now. I think they're doing more equal. The school system was a part of it. Anyway, there's a lot, and we'll get into that. We're going to start a whole blended family series where we talk about being a stepmom and being a stepdad. But this is kind of what we were talking about. We want our remarried community to know that we want to help you. That's one. And two, there's a lot of advice out there, and just vet your advice a little bit.
Yeah. I would like to be counseled by people or who have a marriage where I know I am going or where I have myself and I'm going down this path. They have already been there. This is what I want. That's why we chose the couple at the church who was remarried because they were ahead of us and they have surpassed some of those mountains and we were needing to get through our mountains and our valleys and
Right,
stuff.
right.
And so we chose that couple and they did help us. I
They
still
did.
remember them today. Some of that advice I remember today.
It was very instrumental in going past it because I think in remarriage, because you've had the disappointment of divorce before that you didn't have when you first got married, it sometimes tries to rear its ugly head again. And you think, hey, I can just get a divorce. I can just end this marriage. I don't have to be in this pain. You don't want to be in pain at all. You just got out of pain sometimes. And as soon as your remarriage gets, how do you call it? Challenged or tested.
Yes.
Every
tested.
marriage is tested. And when your remarriage gets tested, a lot of times you just want to run away.
And I think that's why the stats say that remarried people
Right.
don't last as long in their remarriage.
The marriages
they
don't.
fail.
Yeah.
The marriages
And we don't want
fail.
that.
We're not for divorce. We're not for breaking up your happy home and getting with somebody else just because you're upset and you don't want what you want.
Or just leaving.
Or just leaving.
And not experiencing marriage the way that it was designed.
intended.
Yeah, it was intended, and to bless your life. Like marriage is a great thing.
But on the front end of that, you have to use wisdom in who you choose
Right.
in picking the right person.
And we can talk about that too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
There's
That's
there's
a
just
big
so
part
many,
of it.
There's so many things that a viral relationship advice, clip
Personality.
or the personality and the clip doesn't get into. So if it's like, men who love you don't do this, or women who really are into you do this, that's very general.
It sounds good, but
Sounds good.
because
It's
to
not
me it's
applicable all
like
the time to everybody's.
you're feeding somebody's ear when you say those type of things, and that's for clicks. That's for get on my side. I'm with you, but they're not really with you. I'm with you, and I just want you to know that I'm gonna say everything that's gonna feed your ear because that makes you feel good. But
And you'll keep listening.
You'll keep listening to them.
And justifying a feeling. And that's what I really liked about the couple that gave us advice. They were not feeding on our hurt. You know what I mean? Or our ignorance of not knowing something about a relationship or a financial strategy or a blended family tip or anything like that. They were really helping us to, it's like think higher or
they
go
wanted to see
further.
us succeed. They wanted to see us succeed.
That's what it is.
And that's what we want to do with the people who are listening to us today.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they were trying to make something bigger than it was. Like we would come with like this horrible situation to us. We thought there's no way we can get past this. And they weren't feeding off of that. They weren't feeding off of our emotion. I feel like there was a lot of diffusing, just their presence and just their understanding diffused the situation. Because
I like that word,
Yeah.
diffuse.
Because even though we both may have been heated or were in our feelings, they weren't going to give just the feeling the justification or the backing, where sometimes viral relationship advice is off of a feeling that you're having and it's justified. So they'll just feed into that feeling of justification of why your spouse is wrong.
And also they feed into the gender wars. And that is in line with what you just said.
Yeah.
Why your spouse, which is the opposite sex most of the time of what we're dealing with, they're feeding into that, anger, hurt, and those type of feelings.
I mean, most of the people know that it's not like a secret that sometimes guys forget things, right?
We do?
And it's like, you can make that a big deal, or you can find out how you can still live with a guy. your spouse,
who
your
forgets
husband, who
things.
forgets things.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Sometimes women are known for spending a lot of money or spending more money than you have or spending more money than is needed. Okay. You can either really base that as she doesn't respect me, she doesn't love me, she doesn't want to be in this home. You can go that way. You can go that route.
Or she doesn't respect what I'm doing for her and this family.
Exactly.
I'm busting my tail at this job. These people talking to me the way they're talking to me. And
she's just spending the money.
She's spending the money up.
And you might not even get into the meat of why she's spending it, or she wasn't even aware of the budget, or you don't even know those things that can help it because you're not focused on that. You're focused on the let's accuse instead of let's diffuse.
Or, you both were raised differently. And she could have been raised in an environment where money wasn't really a problem, but you were. Like, I know I was raised in a place where money was a problem. There wasn't any. But then I had to learn about money, and then I had to learn how to make money grow.
Right.
So that helped me to be able to know that when two people come together, they could learn some things that's going to be beneficial for the relationship.
You're right. And so either you're going to focus on what you don't know and what they didn't do, or you can focus on how can we move forward from this? Because that's ultimately what you want to do in remarriage counseling and legacy building. You want to know, how can we grow from here?
Yeah, because pointing the finger doesn't help anybody.
No.
It doesn't help you, her, him, the kids, the family, your money. Pointing the finger does not help anyone.
And I think the biggest responsibility of a remarriage is taking your own personal accountability. And if you never did that in your marriage and you never were taught how to do that, that is something that has helped us a lot. Yes, that was your background. This was my background. Yes, that was your experience in marriage. This was my experience in marriage. Now, how can we take all of that together
and make it
and
successful?
Build something?
Yeah.
Like, what did you say? Like, take out the meat and leave the bones, or whatever. I forgot the saying.
Yes.
But in your story, whatever your backstory is, there are nuggets of wisdom, even in the faults or the mistakes. You can use that to build upon with your spouse.
And you can grow from anything that you have experienced in your life.
Yeah. Especially if you let it go. Like, there's no shame in it, and your partner is accepting of it. Not to say that they're accepting of what you did, if it was a mistake or anything like that, but can handle that that's what you've been through.
Yeah. It's more like what you said. They can handle what you've been through so that you both can grow from it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the missing piece that we see sometimes in viral relationship advice from people who may have the credentials, may not, may be married, maybe not, or whatever. It just seems like that wholeness and wanting the relationship, your relationships specifically, to grow from the ashes is what I don't hear a lot.
Yeah. And to me, it would be kind of weird for me as a man, I'll just speak for myself, to be a online personality talking to a remarried couple. I've never been married. I've never been divorced. I've never been remarried. So I'm going to help them to have a successful remarriage. Like, how could I do that, really? I mean, I could feed off of some of the successes that successful marriages have, but there's only so much of that you can do. I can't be specific and help them based off of my own experiences because I don't have any experiences.
Yeah, you would just have to study, and still it's like the simulation in a way.
Yeah.
And I guess there are women out there who have never had children, and there's women who have children. Can a woman who has never had a child comfort or advise a person who that has 3 children and would like another child? And, can you help me eat the best or do something to help my body prepare for my 4th child? Where would you go for that advice? Would you go to someone that has had 5 children, Or would you go with someone who has no children but studied childbirth, whatever? Everybody can give the advice, and there are some nuggets in each one.
Yes, there are. You can get
Yes,
wisdom.
you can gain from someone who has never had a child before and you want to have a child and they've studied the woman's body and all of those things. But it's how you take in that information.
Yes.
And we just don't want you to take in too much of information that is not applicable to your specific remarriage or blended family. It's just more general.
Yeah. General personalities or general online personalities, they don't know the nuances that you need to help you succeed.
So really, we're saying that the best remarriage advice, I would say, would be for someone that you can talk to that has the experience, the desire to help, and the understanding of where you've gone through. And then you vet them and say, hey, is what they have or what they want for me, is that something that would be good for me? You know?
Or is that where I want to go?
Is that where I want to go?
Yeah.
So if they're talking about communication or they're talking about legacy building, do I want to go there? Because it does require work.
And I would also say, are they talking about working together?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to marriages, well, you do need to work together, but there's a lot of people who are married, but they're not working together. And someone would say, well, I really don't want to work together with someone. I just want to be married and I want him to do his thing or her to do her thing. And then I'm going to do my thing.
Right. And you have to ask yourself, what do you want?
Exactly.
And where do you want to go? And then you look to see if that person give you the advice, can they take you there? I mean, like you were talking about with the trainer or with anyone. I mean, if you want to run a marathon, do you want to be trained by someone who has ran many marathons or someone who has never ran a marathon? Do you want to, financially, do you want to be advised by someone who has made a lot of money or someone who has talked about making a lot of money?
Yeah, because they work in a financial institution, but they've never themselves gone out and built a business or made money or made a product, but they can talk about it because they have been around that from other people's experiences. Right. That may be good up to a point.
There's all you can learn from it. We just want remarried couples, and especially with blended families, we want you to understand where the information is coming from so that you can better use that seed of knowledge, So
we have a discernment test.
Yes, there's 5 ways that you can tell if you should take this relationship advice seriously.
Yeah. I want to read them.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to read them to you. Yeah. So number 1 is, does this advice strengthen our marriage or make us suspicious of each other?
That's a good one.
That's really good. I like that because if a person is talking to me and my spouse, is it making us divided or are we coming together?
Yeah, like am I side-eyeing him? Oh, well, my husband does that. He must be cheating on me. Yeah. Or my husband does that. He must be something that's negative. Or is it bringing us together? Is the advice having me look at my husband and say, you know what? He is really strong. He is a protector. He is this. So you can kind of put it through that test like, hey.
Yeah. So no matter the gender of the guru, if that guru is making your spouse who is of the opposite sex look bad in your eyes, then I would kind of question their advice. Because
where's the advice going to take you?
Where's it going to take you and where is it coming from? Mm-hmm. Because you want something that's going to strengthen your marriage and not make you more suspicious of your spouse. You want to strengthen your relationship. Mm-hmm. So number 2 is, does this advice encourage humility and accountability on both sides?
That could just be the only one. That humility, does it encourage humility? And I want to say that to anyone who's like the breadwinner of the family. When you get advice, are you getting advice that helps you to lead the money with humility and accountability? Or are you the one who says, this is my money, I made it,
No, I'm
And
making the rules.
and I'm going to do whatever I want with the money. I have a whole
Yeah.
family, a whole blended family, and I'm just going to do what I want. There are relationship gurus or relationship advice that will tell you, hey, no matter what, it's your money. And so, again, is it giving you humility? Is it helping you to have humility and accountability?
Yeah, because you can be accountable, but if you're not humble in your household and helping everybody to go up, you want you to go up, your spouse to go up, and if you have children, you want your children to go up, your families to go up, and that can happen if you have the right, wise counsel.
And then when we talk about that humility and accountability, that can go with anger, that can go with how you engage with the children, all of the children, especially if you have a blended family. It can go with how you spend your time, work, computers, whatever. Are you with family? Are you with friends? Are you with your spouse? That humility and accountability, that's a powerful combination.
It's very powerful because they are like yin and yang, I guess. They work together, but they're separate at the same time. And a person who understands that they are humble, yet they have this accountability of, or responsibility as well, then they are powerful. To me, that's very powerful for your household. So a spouse who is humble and accountable is very powerful in that marriage. Let me give you an example. If you're going through co-parenting in your new remarriage and you are humble and accountable, then that could help not only your household, but your ex's household because you have children that you're dealing with. So being humble and not having your ego stroked or hurt can help you.
And being accountable to all parties, your wife and your ex.
Yeah.
Not just, I just deal with my ex on that topic and I don't regard my other family, but really bringing the whole family together.
Yeah.
And you'll need that with blended family. And that's something other people who are married may not understand as much, because in marriage, you really are guarding that marriage. In remarriage with a blended family, you're opening the doors to expand the circle of love. And that's hard because sometimes it's
Well, it takes time.
it takes time. That's good. And it also is a delicate balance. So that's why some of the dating and marriage advice has to be tweaked a little bit with remarriage.
So number 3, does the advice respect the complexity of remarriage and blended families?
That's just what we were talking
And
about.
yeah, we were just talking about that.
That's funny that we kind of went into that. There is a complexity.
Yeah. It's very complex when you're remarried, in my opinion, because there's so many things that you've been through. There's emotions. The children have emotions. You have emotions. Your ex has emotions. Your family members have emotions based
Right.
off your current and previous marriage.
In-laws.
In-laws. So, yeah, there's a lot of complexity when it comes to that. So, number 3, does this advice respect the complexity of remarriage and blended families?
And we were just talking about that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny that we were going into that with the number 2. So you're having this discernment. When I hear this advice, do I know that this person or this advice is coming from an understanding of what a blended family has to go through?
Or the complexity of a remarriage, because a remarriage is different from your first marriage.
Yes. There's so many different types of baggage that you have in a remarriage that you don't have in your first marriage. And even the mindset, I'll give you an example. I felt like my remarriage made me more conservative in marriage thinking. Where before in my first marriage, I thought it was just like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. And we're going to just kind of come together somehow.
And make it work.
And make it work. Like we're just going to go his career, my career. And that really didn't work. But that was being promoted as the end thing to do for marriages. And so now that I've been remarried, I feel like just my understanding, it has gotten more complex, because not only have I experienced one way
Yes.
and heard it, but now I'm living a different way, and I'm trying to make my mind, body, and spirit like line up in that way.
And you have to monitor your way of thinking now. So when people first get married, they think, I can be married forever and I can do what I want and I can say what I want and they're going to do this for me, because, you know, a lot of people want things, and it's okay to want, but you have to also give. And we had to learn how to want and give.
So you're saying that's the complexity of...
That is a complexity, because I believe that at first we were probably a little selfish. And that's why a lot of people do get divorced, because of selfishness, unforgiveness. And you're just thinking about yourself a lot.
Remarriage has a maturity
It matures you if you want to stay married.
And that is good. And also marriage with kids already there who have different parents. It's just a complexity in itself. So when you first get married, usually there are no kids involved. You're just marrying each other, and then you guys are going to have kids, and you have to deal with the other parent who's you're married with. With remarriage, sometimes both of you are coming in with children that each set of children have another set of parents. So that's a complexity that other relationships don't have.
Yeah.
And so
how are we going to have rules in our household and have our spouses, our ex-spouses, abide by the rules of that child in this household?
yes. So that's why we say,
That's complex.
does the advice respect that you are in that situation, and not just saying blanket, in your house, this is the rules and this is how it goes. It doesn't matter if it causes so much disruption. It doesn't matter if the children are suffering or having some issues with it. So it can't be blanket. And that's why we want you to ask these questions to yourself as you're receiving this advice.
So number 4, does this advice push healing or just validate bitterness?
Yeah.
That's a really good one, because I've seen a lot of sound bites that push the narrative of bitterness more so than healing.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that...
Or give an example.
I'll give an example of a online personality speaking to a group of the same sex, whether it's a man or a woman personality, and they are basically building up their group of people to be angry with the opposite sex. So it's like, does it push healing or validate bitterness?
What were they saying?
They're just validating bitterness. Well, it depended on if it was a man or a woman personality. I'm just saying.
Yeah, give an example.
So as a man,
Spill the tea.
I've heard a lot of men talking about how women are this and women are that. And there are similarities in genders, but
like what are they saying?
Well, the thing about it is that it doesn't really matter what they said. The thing that
I
matters...
have an example. That's what I want you to say, an example.
The thing that matters is that they're spilling bitterness and not healing. They're not healing.
Give us an
the relationship.
example.
Well,
what did they say?
Well, I'll just say that I have heard some of them saying that on a male side, that a woman is this or that.
What is what?
And all he wants is his peace. A lot of guys have heard that before, that, he wants his peace, because a lot of men want peace. They don't want her talking a lot and saying things out of place or talking out of the side of their mouth to him, making him feel low or not appreciated. So I have heard those type of things.
What was the advice, though?
The advice, well, some of them were like, get rid of her. You don't need her anyway. Or, go to your side chick if you have one, or if you don't, get one. I've heard those type of things as well.
That advice wouldn't be helping remarriages at all.
Exactly. Does the advice push healing or just validate bitterness? They're validating bitterness and separation.
So you're telling me that the men advice out there is, if you don't want your woman to be talking a lot, get a side piece?
I'm not saying that is all of the advice. What I'm saying is that I have heard different levels of advice from specific and different people.
And this was to married people?
To married, single. I've heard it all.
To men in general?
Yeah, I've heard it to men. Yeah.
I've heard actually men talk to women and tell them that the man you have really isn't worthy enough of your being.
That sounds like a simp
the
to me.
way that he is. And I've heard it from 2 other women that it's like,
He doesn't measure up.
if he's not giving you flowers every day, he's unworthy. And I'm thinking, you don't give me flowers every day.
I don't give you flowers.
You
every
must
day.
be unworthy.
I'm unworthy in according to them.
But
Yes,
see, this is what
I
I'm
am.
saying. And so I was like, where do they live? Like, who can do that? I can't even do that. Or on the opposite side, if they're saying to the men, yeah, if your woman is not giving you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the happy place. Yeah.
Every day,
Yeah.
she is unworthy.
She's unworthy.
And it's like, why do they keep saying that? Or that was more, I guess, like making people suspicious or whatever. But the healing side and the bitterness, it was almost like, if your man has done this to you, then he never loved you. And now you're like, oh my gosh. Or
He could be
because-
unaware. That's
because
not
he-
fair.
yeah.
That's not true. Because, people go through life and sometimes you're just trying to live and you're unconscious about certain aspects of it until it's brought to your attention. And then you're like, oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. And I would never do that to the person I actually love. So
what do you mean? Like what example?
what I'm saying that you said, well, you would never intentionally hurt the person that you love. Sometimes you're going through life and you're just trying to survive because you're working, you're paying bills, you come home, you're tired, and you're trying, and they may say something and you react a certain way, but that's only because you were tired, not because you meant to hurt them on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
And, that could be from a man or a woman's standpoint. You have to realize that these sound bites are destructive. They're not really meant to bring closeness, forever, legacy, and help you in your marriage or your remarriage.
I had to be careful after I got divorced not to listen to too many people talk about how horrible men are.
Yeah, that's bad.
Because in the state that I was in, anytime I would hear it, my bitterness would grow. I needed to hear about good men, and I needed to hear about good families, good women.
Well, I was going to say, they can't build an army without building up that bitterness, whether it's a man or a woman personality. They have to build up the bitterness in order to have their army strong.
And then I'm looking in the comments and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah. God, you could just, if you focus on it, you could really hate other people and yourself. It didn't even seem like it stopped there. Like it will just keep going, and then you'll second guess yourself as a person because this advice is pushing bitterness.
I wonder, how do you get out of that bitterness? Because if you're focused in it, you're just like living in there. How do you get out of that to get to the place that you actually want to be in, which is a peaceful relationship, a nice, loving marriage? How do you get out of that bitterness if you're focused on this person's advice to you? I was going to say wisdom, but it's not wisdom. This person's advice to you and their army that they are building. And it doesn't go in line with what you or where you want to go in your life. And you know it. Some people know it, but they still listen to these people.
Well, I think it's emotionally charging and you can relate to it. You can say, oh, I felt that way. And so I feel like the difference is some of the relationship gurus are like the immediate response to it. Like if you need something to do right now, this is how you can solve it. Just go over here, go with him, go over there, do this and do that. But a legacy marriage is more like you have to come out of yourself in a sense and look at the bigger picture. And that is really hard in an emotion. Okay, let's look at the bigger picture. Is this going to take us closer to where we want to go in the end? And it has you more not looking at the other person. You have to like stay focused on what you said to yourself, what you want to have in this marriage. And if the other person is having a bad day or is not at 100% right now, you got to still keep going. And that is what legacy marriage advice kind of pushes you and helps you to do. Whereas some of these emotional relationship gurus, and as soon as something happens, you look to your spouse and it's like, you did this. And so now you did this, I'm going to do that.
Well, I see that there's no forgiveness. There is only judgment. So that in itself is tough for any relationship.
And a tit for tatness.
A tit for tat, judgment.
You did this, don't expect that. And if you don't have this, you won't grow to that. I mean, it's very, very conditional.
Very conditional.
Relationship advice, the viral relationship advice, super conditional. And the ones that are more like, let's hang in there, let's stay in it, are more downplayed or they're ridiculed. For you to be a woman and to forgive your man for making a mistake is almost like you don't do that.
Unforgivable. You
just do not do that. As soon as he messes up, you better divorce him and get out of town. That's more like what I hear the viral relationship advice is almost like, it's.
But the weird thing to me is that people will listen to it and agree with it and then wonder why they don't have the type of relationship they actually want.
Well, they don't usually have any relationship.
True.
Because all of the relationship advice told them, don't accept any of this. If they do this, they're a bad person. And so there's no good person that can pass the test to get in. There's no woman who's good enough. There's no man who's good enough. So everybody is just waiting for this person that they don't have to lower any of their standards for. Not that you have to lower standards for anybody, but I'm saying there's no pass for anyone.
Well, there should be doors that are opened. So you're not necessarily lowering standards, but you're being strategic and wise in getting the thing that you want. So you don't have to lower your standard to have the type of person that you actually want. And it may not look, because the thing is, we look at looks or we look at how much money they have, but also there's other variables that go along with a person. Most people are not just one dimensional or one-sided.
Yeah, it's their character,
they have
it's
a
their
lot
personality, it's their standard, it's their health. I mean, it's a lot of things that you connect with when you get married. It's not just the outer person.
Yeah.
And so.
Or their clothes. Sometimes they have these little shows now and people, they'll pop a balloon based off of what someone's wearing and say, well, you wore this, and so you're not the one for me.
Or your hair is like that.
What? It's like, that's
like
a weird thing to do, is to pop a balloon based off what somebody wore. When we change our clothes every day.
Yeah, you can change your look. I change my wigs all the time.
Yeah, you could change your makeup. You could change your haircut. You can change your the color of your shirt that you chose.
Your whole appearance.
So, you have to look past that. And I think, like we always say, this is for grown folks.
Yeah.
Because grown folks understand that there's more to life than just these simple little things, that unforgiveness because of what you wore. I can't forgive that. You wore red when I like blue,
Yeah, I think it's like, I look at it when we're in the garden, so much happens underground before you get the fruit, before you get the vegetable, before you get the plant. And a lot of advice can be just look at what you see on top and not really helping the soil.
Yeah.
If the soil is strong and the soil grows and you water it, then you'll have a great fruit. And
well, you said water. The most online personalities don't get deep into your relationship, and they don't know what you're dealing with individually. So they're not going to help you go into that ground and
work the ground.
Yeah, work the ground, till the ground.
The ground needs a lot of help in a remarriage.
Everybody's ground needs a lot of help
before you get replanted or you're planted by someone else, and
it has to be fertilized.
Yeah.
So fertilization comes from that good word or that wise counsel, things that you need to help build you guys up together.
And I think value is important, because I say that to say, I have friends that'll be like, I'm not lowering my standard, Aki. I'm not lowering my standard for him. And I'm thinking, if he loves you and you love him, what standard did you lower?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, is that the ultimate? Because you can make money together. You can change a style together. You can, that comes and goes. But to have a real person love you for real, like they are good people. When you have good people, and this good person is attracted to you. and you're attracted to them. So, I don't know if you've ever met people that were good people, but you just weren't attracted to
You
them.
weren't attracted to
They were
them.
like, oh, that's a good man, or that's a good woman.
But they're not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a good man. But when you find one that's a good man and you're attracted to him and he's attracted to you and he loves you, like, there's a lot of little factors that have to happen for that. How in the world is that lowering your standard if he's 2 inches shorter than you wanted, or he doesn't have the job that you wanted your husband to have?
He can make his own job, actually.
Those things are they're variable. But to get someone who's good and loves you and you love them and there's an attraction, there's a spark there, that's hard to find. And I think remarried couples who have found that really cherish it. They're like, oh my gosh, I have found something.
You don't want to
My
start over
precious.
either.
And it's like, yeah, and I want to help you to find your precious, your thing that is so adored.
And you want to, but you have to be open to it. And like you just said, if someone is like 2 inches below your standard of this is the height that I wanted, but they have everything else.
Yeah.
Why would you throw that away in the hopes of possibly, maybe someday in the future, getting someone who has all of this stuff? And
I remember I wrote down my list and you were 1 inch taller
I was 1 inch taller.
than I wanted.
Yeah. Because I'm tall.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You were 1 inch taller. I had a very specific little height.
And I wrote down lists and things after I was divorced, and I was like, well, the next one's gonna be like this.
And I didn't have a lot of those.
There's a lot of things you didn't have, but
You lowered your standards for me.
I lowered my standard. But the thing is that I realize that there are more things for us by shifting my thought process versus saying this is my desire, but yet it was really, if you look at it, it's like purely, physical or something that, doesn't matter in the long
You
scheme
mean
of
physical
things.
or financial?
Yeah, it could be
Usually-
physical or financially.
Are the two big ones for people.
Yeah, but those are things that you can actually work on. If you find someone and they're a little bit heavier than you thought they would be, you guys could work out together. But it depends on how you present it to them. You can't just say you need to lose some weight so you can
Right.
be with me because I'm
Or
all that.
this is how I am. I'm never going to change. So deal with it.
Exactly. Those kind of mentalities and thought processes are not good for any relationship.
Yeah. You have to want to grow. And I think you have to want to grow together. That's interesting.
Well, people want to grow
because
but-
you can grow,
Yeah.
but you have to grow together, and
That's why some people
takes
say-
that humility and accountability.
I was going to say also, that's why people say, well, we grew apart. So they were growing.
Yeah, they were growing.
But they grew apart. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, we don't believe in that. We want you guys to grow together.
That takes a lot.
Grow as one.
Yeah.
So number 5 is, does this person have training, wisdom, fruit, or experience that fits what we are building?
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Yeah.
Are they trained? Do we have training? Let's go for ourselves. Do we have training?
Well, I have life training.
We have
yes.
life training. Do we have wisdom?
I definitely have wisdom. Been through some stuff.
Do we have fruit of our journey?
Well, we have fruit right now as we are talking. It's been 16 years of this remarriage for us, going on 17.
And children with
And we
that.
have children.
Yes.
We have stepchildren. We have adopted children. And we have biological children.
Yes. Do we have experience?
Yes, we have
We
experience. 'cause-
definitely have that. I feel like we have more experience than I really wanted to. I
Yeah.
mean, from a child to an adult.
Exactly. So our
And-
experiences come from individually and separately as children from our parents' lives.
Yeah.
And also from our
Adult life.
adult lives, and now from our current adult life. So we have 3 different stages of life.
Development.
Of more.
That we could share.
Yeah.
If
So
you want. And it's like, for you, is this what you're building? Like, do you want something like that? I feel like our peace has tremendously grown at least in my life.
And I'd also like to say that we've done literally hundreds of projects together that have built a bond between us, and they helped us to grow and understand each other in times of conflict.
Do you feel like peace has improved in your life? No.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like intimacy has improved?
I feel like my life has changed for the better in all ways.
Yeah, because for men, there's a lot. Men want different things in their relationship. Women want things in their relationship. And I know for me, this is like a blessing. But it wasn't a blessing that was just like given to me. It was almost like, if I could compare it, it was like this dough.
Well, you have to mold it.
It was like a dough.
You have to build this. You can't. It doesn't just come built.
Yeah, and then it was like all of the spices and everything that you need are available to you, but you got to go get the different ones and then build your bread. Or build what you want.
Your pizza.
Yeah. Oh, you're making a pizza.
I'm making a pizza.
He's making a pizza. I'm making this wonderful, low calorie, no fat bread that I can
mine is
eat
all
constantly.
greasy and it's got some pepperoni on there and everything.
Yeah. And it's like, so that's how I feel about the relationship I have now, currently 16 years into a remarriage and at this stage of my life. Is this something that you want to build? Because that's where our advice is like coming from. That's where our hope and nuggets and sharing stories is to help you get to the point where you can be 16 years into your remarriage and just enjoying it. And not every day. I'm not saying we're happy every single day. We argue, we have challenges, but we kind of have this piece that we both know the other person is going to keep going to where we have agreed to go to. I mean, like,
and we want to work this relationship, this marriage.
Right.
That's the one thing I was going to say, is that we both know that the other person loves you and wants to work the marriage. That's a key foundational principle that you have to have, is you're not going to just give up on me. You're not going to stop.
Right.
We are building a legacy. We're building something together
that we can pass on.
And pass on to these children.
Our children, and just for ourselves, having somebody in our later years. I mean, that's something that we do think about. We're taking care of older family members, and we do think about that. Well, we plan to live a long and strong life. What does that look like for us?
Yes.
That's something that's important to us. And not just in that way, not just that, but the way that we will live, the way that we will be together in times of turmoil in the world. If we go through another COVID, or if we go through something, where do we want to be?
It's easier for us to work together now, and then let's say something like another COVID type of situation did come around, and we had to be super close to each other, with each other every day, all the time, talking to each other. We have to know how to do that, because that takes some type of work. It takes a type of wisdom to be able to stay together in the same house, talking day and night, and not get on each other's nerves all the time.
Yeah. Or not get on each other's nerve to the point where the only way you know how to deal with it is to leave. How can you manage when your spouse gets on your nerves? Those type of things.
And that does happen. You know, the reality is that you guys will love each other, and you will get on each other's nerves.
Yeah. And the kids will get on your nerves.
And the kids will get on your nerves, and family members will get on your nerves. The exes will get on your nerves. But it's like, I'm not jumping ship just because people are on my nerves. I'm trying to figure out a way to overcome these things.
You're right. Exactly. And we had written down some things about what remarried couples, what their voices that are speaking into them, what they need to be. And so this was our list. We said remarried couples need voices that are grounded, that are honest, that are mature, that are pro-marriage, emotionally responsible, that are practical, that are accountable, and not addicted to controversy.
Those are all good. I like pro-marriage.
Yeah, you definitely want that.
You don't want to listen to somebody who is not even pro-marriage. Why would you listen to that person as a person who wants to be married, who is married?
They're really pro getting my ducks in order, or getting my life together. I mean, you can hear some of the people, they're very about themselves and making themselves the standard to which they want to make someone else that. But usually that is a longer process, because it's almost unattainable.
I actually want to say it's usually a fallacy, because nobody really wants to be with somebody who's perfect. If you're with someone who is perfect and you're the one who is not perfect, they're always pointing the finger. They're always judging. They're always shaming.
You'll put them down.
And I
you'll bring them down.
And you'll bring them down.
Yeah.
You don't meet their standard.
No.
You're always, and I use the word always because they are perfect. So you cannot be perfect in their eyes. They are always going to see you as below them, belittled. And so it's like, that's a really interesting online personality to listen to.
Right. Our message is we don't want you to reject every outside voice or anything.
No, we're not saying reject them all.
The goal is really not to reject every voice that's out there, every relationship advice guru or anything like that. The goal is to protect your remarriage from voices that aren't qualified to understand the weight of your future or will take responsibility in their words and their actions about your blended family and your future. So we hope that all of this really wasn't criticism of others, but we want it to be where you begin to have discernment of what you hear and what you use to build your family.
The real issue is not whether that online personality is married or not. It's whether their advice produces wisdom, peace, maturity, responsibility, and a healthier marriage.
Their advice can still be useful if they are trained, they're ethical, they're honest about the lane that they're in, and they're not pretending that their personal opinion is universal truth.
So this wasn't about criticizing online personalities.
Right.
It was about getting you to think about who are you listening to and why are you choosing to listen to that information or that advice.
And about discernment. So like we said, you can hear all of these things and then you now know how to discern which advice to take in and which advice is really applicable to you.
Thanks for listening to Remarried Love. Share this podcast with someone you know would benefit from this conversation.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you love to listen.
See you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
We've got this remarried love. It's better than we dreamed of.